Hello and welcome back to my logs on how to make a mission in Soldiers Heroes World War II. And I did have a very small problem when I was trying to get part 2 of this to start recording. I tried recording this before, but I was worried about potentially having the game crash for no reason, and I tried to save it. Little did I know, that was the worst thing I could have ever possibly done. So I ended up having to basically end up replacing the original 0.mi and make a whole new one. Anyways, so even on the original 0.mi, I went and replaced the M1 carbines these guys had. I replaced them with EM2s, and I gave them 28 rounds of ammo instead of something else. These guys still have their Stens and 64 rounds. So what we're doing this time is we are going to go ahead and, hang on a second, is this thing even on the microphone? Alright, this is the third time I am recording this, because the last two times my video files have constantly kept getting corrupted. Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to slam down a tank for this mission, but the multiple times I try to record this, the mission just keeps corrupting. The thing just keeps corrupting, and it just makes me really angry, because it's wasted time that I have to redo everything. So basically what I'm going to do here is these guys are going to be tank men. I would replace like 2/3. I would replace like 3 of the 4 people here with like handguns instead of pistols, but
Watch out here, lad! Here we come!
I'm not gonna waste my time with that. I'm just gonna put them in the bloody tank. Just get them in the bloody tank. Because I don't have time to waste this anymore. And then after this, I went ahead and sorted out getting my revolution, my little people down at the thing over there dealt with. Gee, I sure hope my video files aren't getting corrupted. Fun fact, yes, they completely are, and I writhe in anger due to it. But I think I found a solution for how to save properly. Do not click save. Never click save before you do this. Hit save as, save your mission as whatever your mission file is. There you go. The curse has been lifted. You can now click save as often as you want, although that might not work. The curse may still apply. Oh boy, I hope these files aren't getting corrupted behind my back, because that means I have to reshoot this stuff, and that is pretty ding-dang irritating. On top of the fact that editing takes a while, and processing takes quite literal hours, not to count the hours it takes to upload this stuff. Anyways, we're going to try setting down some resistance fighters. First off, we need some units that we can turn into different versions of people. That should be, I'd like it to be 10 people. Why 10 resistance fighters holding down an entire train station? Small forces are fine, I think. So we'll split them up now. 2 of these guys will go over here, 3 go over here. A majority of them will go here, and you are just going to be some odd guy out. In fact, you're actually going to be a American infantryman. Well, actually, no, they did have machine gunners. The Americans had the bar. They have Brens. Let's just assume this guy is just some guy who got para-dropped in, or what have you. The only thing he's got is a grenade or two. I'm just going to assume that, relative to the story, he's just some paratrooper who got separated from his group, or something. Let's check this breed real quick. Let's see, just try rifleman. What do you got? 20 rounds. Well, actually, I just need a guy.
Let's give him some stick!
I just need a guy with an M1 carbine. Yeah, screw it, give him an M1. Here we are. They don't have the M2 though, but that's not a problem that I don't care about. He's also going to need some ammunition though.
Watch out, Hitler! Here we come!
I'll be back when I finish outfitting this guy with everything he needs. And I also finish fitting out the other guys with the things they need to be. Alright, this is another save thing that got a little corrupted. But I think I finally figured out the secret sauce on how to avoid having your game basically freeze up and you lose not just your save, but you also lose your precious, precious video files. Don't save more than once per time that the game runs, because if you do that, the game's going to have a bit of a stroke, and your only option then is just to shut it down for good. You don't want that. Do everything in your power to avoid that. Do not fall into the same trap that I did. Anyways. And I believe these guys are going to be mainly armed with Stens and maybe some handguns. And maybe for variety, we'll also give them some German weapons to imply these are weapons that they stole from maybe, say, this train station when they grabbed their Stens and went on their little things. So then, what are these guys going to be armed with? I think I'll give them something like, well, what would make sense? What were the Allies mainly airdropping into everything? They were airdropping things like pistols, mainly the cheap stuff that they could afford to throw away like that. Stens, mainly. I'm sure the majority of these people are just going to get Stens. And maybe like one magazine's worth of ammo. They're not really meant to be a major attacking force. It's only really your job to back them up. And I'll assume that one of these guys, maybe one or two of these guys will be armed with, we're just going to give this guy an MP40. The thought that these guys would have managed to steal a Sturmgewehr, basically the German assault rifles, I would be very doubtful of that being possible. But whatever. Have them pick up their guns. Well then again, these are meant to be more of NPC characters, so I don't really think it's necessary that they have limited amounts of ammo. For the most part, I don't think it would make any sense. So I finished loading out that other guy with all the ammo he needs. I think for these other guys, I think they're going to be just fine how they are. Alright, but even then, these guys are supposed to start with AI control. Mainly meaning that they don't really have limits for their ammo. They just kind of reload when they feel like it. Even then, they'd pretty much be just temporary units anyways. So, that is all of these guys fitted out. Alright, the recording is back up and running. It's been a few months since I've come back to this. For you, it's going to be one transition phase later. But I've plopped down a tank, and I plan on making this part of the mission like, oh hey guys, this is a Free French Resistance place thing. We found this tank while we were out, while we took this place over. This tank was in disrepair when they left it behind, so then we have to start damaging the tank. How do you do that? Oh, well, that's easy. Let me just find standard generic people to crew another tank, and you just damage it. Or at least that's how I do it. I haven't seen any other methods that exist. Alright. Track is broken. Tank is broken. Yeah. This is not repairable beyond this point.
Watch out, Hitler! Here we come!
Oh my god, you can still get inside of it? Interesting. So that means I can just... Oh wow, that works. Astounding. And so thus it works. I'll get rid of that. And we're going to take this and leave it right here. Damaged tank. But I think instead of leaving the repair kit for it directly inside the tank, we're going to opt instead to put like a box somewhere. You'll just come up and pick it up. You can just leave that right in there. Repair kits are what allow you to repair things. Funny thing though,
Watch out, Hitler! Here we come!
if you use a repair kit while, repair kits in this game are a lot rarer than they are in games like Men of War, where in games like Men of War, especially the multiplayer,
Show 'em, boys!
every single tank and armored car has a repair kit. Even some of the cannons just come with repair kits complete. This game has those things be a little more rare and hard to find.
Let's show 'em who's boss round here!
That is very useful. So, we have the tank done dealt with. And now, we just need to focus on the enemy position. I think I declared that here is going to be where the enemy is fortified. So let's take a look at what we got for good emplacement material. We're probably not going to place a bunch of tanks. Or if we do, we're not going to put anything crazy. Definitely not a Panzerwaffe. That's just a little extreme. One of these. Oh, certainly possible. You know what I really like about this game that Men of War just abandoned when it came out? This is something you can't do in Soldiers. This is something you can do in Soldiers Heroes of World War II that Men of War will not let you do. You can take mounted guns off of certain vehicles and use them for yourself, but what you can't do is you can't swap out other guns. Like I just put an M1919A4 onto this Sonderkraftfahrzeug 223. This is not something that the game would ever let you do. Men of War wouldn't. In fact, I've never been able to remount something in this game after doing something. So, yeah, that's interesting. The game doesn't let you do that. So anyways, back to the important thing. Figuring out how to fortify this position. So anyways, what are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to take some cannons or other general emplacement devices. These are impreferable, but if we have to. A Browning on a stand, or something of that model. Here we are. MG34 on a stand. Preferably mounted behind some walls or something. Like here would be a great place. If I could rotate the thing, that is. Oi. My recording program timed out after 10 minutes of straight recording. So, yeah, there is no rotatability thing on this. But yeah, like I said, you're going to want to put it somewhere like here where you'll get a decent amount of cover without exposing yourself too much. Something as simple as putting it over a wall like this can drastically improve the gunner's survivability, while also minimizing the attack of other things. What's this? It's probably a 6-pounder or something. 6 Funt. Strange. Oh, interesting. Pack 43, huh? Looks more like a ship cannon. I'm just wasting my time now looking at all these other guns. It's a good idea to familiarize yourself with just about everything in this game, so that you know what you're dealing with. There can also be other interesting things to have, like, this looks like it would be a bit much for a MG setup. Yeah, I think a standard machine gun will be fine. I just need some people. How many? Let's start with 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. These will all be Germans. We'll split them up. The first two groups will split up into groups of 5 for different setups, and the remaining 5 will split up into 2 and 3. Everybody gets an MP40 or a standard rifle or one of these MG42s.
Gott mit uns!
Not that I know what that means. So first off, oh yeah, it's also probably important that I also shift them over to player 1's control, or, you know, whatever is not you. Can I even shoot through this? Can I reload this? I think that should be fine. If I can, I'd like to especially set up some sandbags here. I'll come back when I have a decently good thing set up here. Really quick thing I wanted to figure out. I figured out how to rotate things. So you hold down Control and then do a right click. You can rotate things. This is incredibly useful, because this means I can angle things how I want them to be angled. I'll be right back. Alright, so this is the defensive setup that I came up with. I finally figured out how to rotate things. So I got all these sandbag things by going into construction, fence, and then there's defense right here. There's also 08 variants, which are shorter, which allows you to set up things like these MG stands and these AT guns. And also, these guys are all currently set as enemy ownership. You may notice at the upper left corner, you'll see a man icon that's currently red. You may have noticed that that was gray during the first part of the video. That is because it is possible for you to change the kind of player you are currently controlling at any one time. To change the thing you're controlling, you use the number pad on your keyboard. 0 is gray, 1 is red, 2 is green, 3 is yellow, 4 is blue, 5 is pink, 6 is cyan, 7 is white, 8 is black, and 9 is brown. Interesting stuff to know if you plan on having more than one. If you plan on having more than just one side versus another. Or if you plan on having other sides with different things like, I don't know, whatever you need more than 2 sides for. You can have a maximum of 10. So yeah, this is what I decided to come up with. A sandbag position all around. An AT gun here. I decided to go ahead and make my 2 special units these guys are now, this is now a stormtrooper with a MP44. This guy is a tank commander, like I already said. So before I go, here's something you may notice. I'm able to move my camera a lot more than I normally should for this game. The way you do that is on F2, the map editor. There's this thing here currently unchecked called clip camera position. By default, this is generally checked. Thus, you're stuck with this limited visual ability. Unchecking this box allows you to move it around a lot more. This also works in the Men of War editor as well. Well, I believe that's all I want to tell you regarding this entire mission. This is going to come out a little later than I would have hoped for because my video editor, my video recorder, my screen capture device, screen capture program just keeps corrupting all the time and causes me problems. So yeah, my save here is already done. I just loaded this up at 6 in the morning. And yeah, so that's the mission that we're going to have. Next up, we're going to figure out how to do programming the mission, making things like objectives and other general things like how does the game know when you've completed certain objectives, how do certain things work, and so on. I will see you all next time.